quite bleak and damp, doesn't it? Trying to get through this is... There's something very unnatural over there. I shall do the big reveal when it's time to actually cook. Oh, look at that. Snow had melted, and obviously it's frozen again, so we've kind of got basically sheet ice on the trail. And in the middle of the trail is a little bit better, but I'm still slipping on the leaves and things. I've put the rucksack down a couple of times, the base is soaking wet. We'll put that through its paces, see if it's as waterproof as it says. Yeah, onwards and longwards and inwards. And then we'll get to a certain point, and then we're going to go off trail. And then deep into the woods. So, come on then. Shit, fucking hell. No! This is going to be cold. Cold. It's actually about 4 degrees Celsius. Wind chill -1 or something, but as you could probably see, the snow has started to thaw out. It did rain for a couple of days, and obviously the water is starting to flow again. It's cold. Refreshingly cold. Right, I'll get one more, fill up the canteen. Oh, fill up the canteen and then get one more. And we'll continue down said trail. I think it's about an hour's walk to actually get to where I'm going to go today. I hope you like it. sign means I'm now at the end of the nature reserve, or at the start of the nature reserve, depending on which direction you want to be. Obviously I'm leaving it, so it's the end. So from here on in, it's wilderness. And there's no restrictions on camping and fires and overnight stuff, so onwards and upwards. Oh my life. Someone's taking this very seriously. Oh, excuse me. Oh, you're lucky there's no such thing as aroma vision right now. I don't want to use the word aroma again. The smell, oh my God. No, I'm going for it. The fucking stench. It's pheromones, I think, for hunting. Can you see the blue bucket? The 200 litre, the 50 gallon drum hanging up on the tripod there? It's a feeder. They'll put in rotten fruit or fruit and vegetables and things, and it'll drop out the bottom, and animals are attracted to it, and they just sit there in the hunting tower and shoot it. And there is a giant bale of hay. I say giant, it's just a bale of hay really, isn't it? You get the big bales and the little bales, so this is a big bale of hay. Giant's an exaggeration. But oh my God, the smell is horrific. And unfortunately, this is where I go off trail. And the wind's blowing that way. I might get lucky. We might get lucky. Please get lucky. Oh. Oh. It's horrific. Oh, it's bad. That's quite a strong smell. It's like a cattle farm, I suppose. But it's just full of bulls and whatever they're called. I go, whoa, smellers. I was going to stop and have a break here. Ooh, onwards and throughwards, yes. So we're going to go all the way up there somewhere. Let's get rid of this smell. I was just trying to get through this is challenging. I'll follow this animal trail. Oh, thank you, nature. Thank you, wildlife. Create a path for me. Alright, okay, typical. Right. Animal trail goes off to the left. And I wish to go in more of a straight line. What is it? Rock at the top of the hill there. Can you see it? Oh, there's a little bit of an opening. That's kind of where I was heading, and that's the start of that opening area anyway. And somewhere up there is where we are going to at least try and enjoy ourselves for the evening. I've got to find a dead standing tree, obviously, to cut down for some firewood. Might not be too difficult. There's another hunting tower. It's only a little one this time. So I guess this is a popular spot. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, poo. At least it's not contrived. All right, okay, see what I mean? Looks like a forest tractor has come through here or something. And then just there is a little hunting tower. Anyway, just keep going. I'll catch up with you over there. I'm not sure if this is an active hunting tower or not, looking at it. Could be. What do you think? I'm not going to lie, that walk through there was challenging. You could probably hear it in my breath. Kind of weaving and climbing and stumbling. Yes, definitely stumbling. So, yeah, so another little hunting tower, I guess. I mean, it doesn't look dilapidated. I'm not going to try climbing up it, but I might get myself up the top of that little hill there, have a better view of the area. That sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Let's get ourselves up to that rock, which has still got snow on it. Well, maybe firewood won't be an issue tonight. Look at it. Obviously, they've cleared this for whatever reason, but there's enough logs here for me to even do a Siberian log fire if I want. without any effort. Obviously, they're going to be soaking wet. Anyway, let's get up there. You hear the train? Sounds like I can hear a road up there somewhere as well, which I know there is one, but again, I suppose it'd be about 2 kilometres away as well. I'm not quite sure I could really show you through the camera, but I'm pretty much on a high point here, a highest elevation in the area, at least anyways. I can see quite a fair distance beyond the trees that way. That way obviously is where I came from, so that's some nice plush forest. And I think the nature reserve starts at the edge of this hill that way as well. Yeah. There's a couple of trees here that have this little paint with what I'm going to be calling, looks like a snowflake, but it could be a leaf, a flower. So I'm going to go with flower because I know, I'm looking at the area, that there is nature reserve down that area, that way as well. So I'm assuming that that's where it starts. There's one on that tree, and there's one there as well. So I won't be camping that way, and as it turns out, that is also where the wind is coming from. So I'm not going that way. I'm thinking of camping somewhere just in the edge there, or maybe where that fallen tree is might be a good idea. Okay, fed and watered, feeling much better, but I'm starting to get cold now because obviously I'm not moving around so much. So, something to warm my hands up with. And then the wind is definitely blowing across this way. Excuse me. So at least I'm not going to smell that from the hunting area, which is a bonus. Some hand warmers on. So yeah, head down to that side a little bit, into the tree line, and try and find somewhere to set up the hammock. It would be great if I can actually get a fire going using just these logs that are on the ground here, because it will compensate for that extra hike that I've had to do. So there's a nice bit of balance, karma lending a hand maybe. But I will probably still need to cut down those 2 small dead standing trees just to have some sort of fire to dry out all this wood, which I think might be the plan of action. But in the meantime, let's get off the top of this hill into the tree line, have a look around, see if we can find a nice spot to set up the hammock and obviously have a fire there as well. Yeah, some of you may have already noticed I have a microphone now, a little wireless microphone. I was starting to get a little bit fed up with all the white noise from the wind. Yeah, I think this is me for the night. Hammock between these 2 trees. I've got a tree stump down there. There's a little chair. So the campfire, there's a rock in front of that. So the wind is blowing that way, so I can have the shelter or the tarp behind me this way. I might need to make myself a bit of a fire break. What's it called? A fire reflector. Hello. Hello, hello. So, I'll show you the position I'm in a second, but there's something very unnatural over there. It's not very tall, that high off the ground, but it looks like a square rock, basically, or Cube? A cube. You'll go with a cuboid rock. There's a massive fallen down tree over there. I won't be using that. That's enormous. That'll probably keep me going for about 3 or 4 days. Right then. What's that there? Have a look. Oh. Where am I? That's where I'm going to be for the night. Still at the top of the hill. Nice big rock there. This is that fallen down tree that we mentioned a second ago. Big rock. I think you can just see it's there. It's there. So that's that fallen down tree that was on the left. But yes, over there, interesting. Hello, there's 2 of them. Okay. Hello. Maybe 3 of them, maybe. No, I take that back. 4. What the? You all right? What's that then? One more there. All right, whatever it is, they're level. There's the 3rd one, and there's the 4th one just behind the tree. And okay. Oh, it's very pretty here. Anyway, back to the mystery. Okay, this is obviously clearly man-made. Nature doesn't bolt stuff together like that, does it? It's angular. And I think I know what this was. I'm not convinced, but more wood, some steel girders, galvanised steel by the looks of things, and a lot of some dead birch tree. Oh, the start of the I was right. That's the start of the nature reserve again. This. Sorry about that. Tripod's catching on the. This is the start of the nature reserve again. That piece of rock clearly has been cut. This is. I'm not sure exactly what this was, but I'm going with military. This birch tree is going to come in very handy. So yeah, this. Oh well, it's always nice to have some sort of adventure in the forest. I wasn't expecting this. There's enough wood here to make a tower. Clearly, a tower, and there's those telegraph pole type things sitting underneath here as well. There's a couple more there. 2x4s and 4x4s bolted onto it and cut off. More down there. Was this a communications tower or something? That's moulded concrete or cement. I thought it would have cut rock. I wonder when this was taken down. It's square. It's definitely a square. Could I camp in here maybe? Could I put my hammock up in here for the fun of it? Not really. So what we're looking at, about 8 meters maybe, somewhere between 6 and 8 meters. What's that in old money? Or could probably 10 meters, as it's very metric. It's probably 10 meters, which makes it 33 foot. That one's easy. Right, could I? Oh, I want to get the hammock in here. I think that's too long. That's too long. No, well. And if you go between 2 trees that you are situated between, the wind's not really going to help smoke into the... Anyone? No, that's not going to work. Well, this is different. I'm 99% sure this is military because I know this area and I know what is underneath us. So yeah, I'm going towards comm tower. That's what I think it was. There's not many. I don't know. Another check over there. So I'm looking for something like electrical, like some cables or a junction box that's been left behind to kind of at least help us a little bit, try and work out what it was. Typical big pile of, I'm going to guess, wild pig poo down there. But anyway, daylight's a wasting. I've only got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of daylight left. So I need to start processing some wood and getting the hammock set up. That second tree turns out to be a dead standing, but it's stable. So I'm thinking the hammock can still go between those two. I don't really want it this way. I'm still going to sit with those two, but yeah, I need to get on. Processing wood took me until about sunset. Luckily, sunset's about 4 o'clock, so it didn't really get dark until about 4:30. And then it was put the hammock up so I can at least get some wind shelter from behind me. So the tarp is 3/4 behind me, and then I've got this little bit that's going to hang out and drop down a little bit. So because I know it's not going to rain. And that way, hopefully, I can get some heat from the fire, which is now the next task, starting the fire. Most of the wood's wet around here. I managed to find a small dead standing tree, so I didn't take it from that open area. I thought I'd leave that so it doesn't look like any damage has been done. Obviously, I've got that birch tree that was lying down on that, I shall call it a tower, the logs. So I've got that processed. Luckily, that was mostly dry, so I've got some dry birch wood and a bit of dry pine wood to get a fire started, because it's now 6:30. The reason it's 6:30 is because it's taken me about 2 hours just to get this bloody hammock set up. The trees are a little bit too close together. The hammock just fits, but the tree huggers that I have are, I suppose, in short, useless, really. If the tree's not a specific size, they don't work. So I've had to wrap it round and get some paracord and adjust, and then more adjusting and more adjusting. So it's taken me about 2 hours just to get the thing put up. So that's a bit frustrating. It's starting to get cold. My hands are starting to stop working. So a fire would be lovely now, please. And then finally cook my wonderful dinner. And there's something I realised earlier on, mainly while I was walking down here, that all this camping I'm doing is in Sweden, and I've never cooked Swedish meatballs. And I'm not intending on doing that tonight either. I shall do the big reveal when it's time to actually cook, because it is something quite spectacular. And I've had the meat in a different form in the past, but this is a fillet. This is straight off the back of the animal. So this is exceptionally good quality meat, well, a good part of the meat, from the animal. So I'm really looking forward to this. Really, really looking forward to this. Hopefully I don't screw it up cooking. I also have some little kind of potato cubes that I'm going to fry as well. So it's a toss up between frying this fillet or grilling it. I mean, I'd like to grill it, but we'll see how it goes. So let's try and get this fire started before I start to freeze. Okay, so fireplace is all set up. I didn't have the time to find any rocks to create a fire thingy, so I've made it out of wood, and plus the wood needs to be dried as well. So what we've got is those large logs I was intending on making like a Siberian fire with, but they're so wet and the wind's blowing that way anyway, so I end up catching fire on the back log and then it will get nasty. So I've used the larger logs as like a fire surround. There's 3 at the back, there's 1 at the front, and obviously there's piled up logs on the sides here. This is the birch wood I was telling you about, a bit more. I have got some splints down there from the splitting the wood. I've got some pine there I've already split, and my kindling is here. I've got some birch bark here. We're going to have a go with that. I can't start the fire with this. I've always got my little wax pads as a backup. If I can find the... yeah. This birch bark is quite damp, so see what happens. I'm not going to scrapey. I'm too late in the day to do proper bushcrafting, so ferrocerium rod with a fuel supply. Well, that's very damp. It's supposed to start because it's heavily resinous, so let's find out. Knowing my luck, it won't. This is very damp. Go on, I know you want to. Ugh. Well, we've got an ember anyway. Let's try a thinner piece. Oh, hello. Oh, nearly. Yeah, this is too damp as well, I think. Fair enough. Oh, it's hot. So I guess, yeah, I think the birch bark will probably needed to have dried out in my pocket during the day. Do you know what? I'll use the whole thing for a change. If you just try and ignite these without exposing the cotton, it won't actually work. Because a candle needs a wick to start. Right, so kindling, which is also damp, or very damp. Some splints on there. Let that build. Yeah, it's still quite damp. I can press that down a little bit actually. If I leave the birch bark there to dry out, I could probably use it after I've cooked dinner. Everything is very damp. I wouldn't say soaked, but it's cold as well, obviously. Got some pine wood in there. So it needs a bit more air. Hopefully that little wax starter pad will have enough go in it. It should work for about 5 minutes, and that should be long enough to dry out the kindling, which then should dry out the slightly larger pieces. That's the plan. Okay, I thought the wind was going that way. Well, the shelter's behind me maybe, so. This is the first time I've used my hammock in the winter, and I don't have one of those all-powerful under-quilts because I've never wanted to use it in the winter before, but I thought I'll give it a go because I'm getting a bit older and comfort seems to kind of work its way up the list of priorities as you get a bit older. So what I'm planning to do tonight is I've got my sleeping mattress, which I'm going to throw the repair kit on the floor apparently. I'm going to feed that into the pouch, so it's underneath, and then the second part of my plan is to use one of those emergency blankets and attach that around the bottom like you would attach an underquilt. I'm basically just going to have some little buttons, and I've got some hair bands, and I'm just going to connect on there, but you'll see that later when I get around to doing that one. So hopefully that will this will create a bit of a warmer layer underneath me, and the plan obviously as well for this emergency blanket is that will create a bit of a wind block as well, so hopefully we'll be okay. It's only going to get down to about -1 tonight anyway, so it's not the end of the world. The wind's mostly blowing this way, so the shed tarp's going to do most of the wind blockage for me, and yeah, just try something new for a change. It's time to cook some food. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this. Okay, that's now burning. I didn't want that. This was coals when I hit play or hit record. Right, I can work that one out. So, frying pan. My trusted little cheap aluminium frying pan. I think I am gonna grill. Can that work? Can I get 1 and 1? Gonna fall over? Probably is gonna want to. Right, let's just tweak that a little bit. Stupid. I've overheated it a little bit, and I think I actually put a frying pan or something on there. I wish I know it wasn't very smart of me. So, do you know, I might as well take that off to start with. Okay, 1, 2, 3, yeah, we're good. That's my little potato things. They're seasoned with herbs and I think bits of bell peppers, I'm not sure. I had a nibble of a raw one, it was very nice. Right, oil. This is actually homemade olive oil. all the way from Spain. So that'll go for the potatoes. But the pièce de résistance, the thing I've been looking forward to all week. This is reindeer meat. Reindeer. It's a piece of backstrap or fillet. Oh, look at that. Wouldn't be one of my trips without my famous Hunter's Mix barbecue spices. But as this is reindeer, I'm actually going to be quite sparing, you put it on half of it, because I want to know what the meat tastes like on its own. There we go. Well, it's already starting to shrink. My only worry is the fire is going to get too cold too quickly. Cool. Cool. No, not core. What's a few pine needles between friends? Okay. Right, let's throw in a couple in, see what happens. Uneventful. Oh, they are sizzling. Okay, in they all go. Awesome. The fire went out. No coals left at all, so I had to put a few more logs on the fire, get it going again, and then basically cut up the little reindeer steaks and put them in the frying pan just to finish cooking. Because I'm starting to get very hungry and it's been way too long. Because, yeah, the ground's too cold, so it's just sucking all the heat out of the fire. What few coals there were. So I give that maybe another minute. Oh, excuse me. It's getting cold, my nose is running. The potatoes are nearly crispy anyway, so. All right then, the moment of truth. Oh, that's upside down. I actually kind of like to put the frying pan on that. Oh, it's quite warm though. Just so I don't... There's fat on the bottom of this. All right, let's try the reindeer first. Oh, flipping heck. Yeah. Oh. Maybe it's worth the wait. Oh, it's definitely worth the wait. Oh, wow. I don't know if you can see. That's wow. Very good. Definitely tastes much like red deer. Where's my little handy wipe? Oh. I'm going to enjoy that. I am enjoying it. Let me give you a better shot of that. You see? Well then, I'll warm up that frying pan a little bit and get the fire going again. I've just thrown everything on there and I hope it'll dry and then burn. There's a few more bits of birch bark in there, which I think is what's catching fire now. There's some hardwood on there, there's some beechwood, and some bits of pine. And it's all damp. Right, hopefully that's enough for a few minutes. See you after I've had my delicious dinner. Dinner eaten, and it was absolutely fantastic. Tidied up, opened up the fire a bit. I've kind of done like a sort of pseudo, maybe slightly Siberian fire. I am a bit concerned that I'm not going to have enough hot coals in the morning to get the fire started without actually having to start a fire again, but it is what it is. That reindeer steak it was fantastic. I wouldn't say it was as strong a flavour as red deer or deer or venison. It was definitely more, I want to use the word creamy actually. Yes, creamy. That's kind of some creamy texture and more of a, yeah, oh, it's fantastic. I was full up, had to keep putting it back on the frying pan, back on the fire to warm it up again, because when the meat was cold, it's not that tasty, is it? So I ended up eating the lot, which was good, because full stomach will keep me warm in the night. I am sitting on this hammock at the moment with the sleeping pad, the inflatable sleeping pad underneath me. And I'm not convinced I'm actually going to need the emergency blanket either. I think I can get away with it as it is. I'm going to try it. There was a pigeon or something over there. It's 10 o'clock, by the way. I just finished dinner at 10 o'clock, so it's nearly bedtime already. Which is fine, as long as that fire can start doing its thing properly. But yeah, exceptional dinner. Great day. It's been a year since I've been out last, at least, which is terrible. I never had an opportunity to do that in the summer. So, but I like the winter camping anyway. Get to have a nice big campfire and all cozy up. So that's nice. That's very nice. But yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Can't believe it. The day has flown by. But then 2 hours trying to put a hammock up is A, embarrassing, and B, probably where most of the time went. All right then. I shall relax for a little while. No, it's not going to go, is it? There, maybe. Stay. Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, sleeping bag is in the hammock. I've put the bug net up in the hope it will create maybe a bit more shelter. Warmth. Everything is still sitting out of the wind. Temperature is still pretty much the same as it was a few hours ago. 2.5 Celsius, 92% Fahrenheit. 92% Fahrenheit. 92% humidity. I've got a feeling it's going to get foggy. Food bag is hanging up there. Still umming and ahhing about whether I'm going to put the front of the tarp in or not. So the fire is going. Not quite the roaring monster sit here in your underpants type heat that I was hoping for. But it's going, and it hasn't let me get cold at least anyway, so I'm not complaining. I do have quite an excessive amount of firewood left over, but I can't seem to burn it. maybe move that big log on top, but it seems to be throwing a bit of heat back towards the hammock anyway, so I'm going to leave it. What I think is going to happen in the night is, if I come to the side, maybe the other side because of the smoke. There we are, that's a bit better, isn't it? So what I think is going to happen is, as you can see, I've got like 3 long logs at the back. The big heavy log is laying on top of it, and a smaller log to the side of it. Obviously, because they're burning at the front as well, what I think is actually going to end up happening is that they'll drop down, and that heavier log may keep the coals hot during the night. But there's a heck of a lot of birch wood on there. But as I said, it's damp and it's cold, not as dry as I was expecting it to be. But I should have some coals in the morning at least to start the fire again. Well, as I say, little bits of wood there. I can process this birch down if I need to because it's sitting there drying. Finish my beer, my little sit pad on a little tree stump halfway between the two. So that'll be me for the night. I will catch you guys in the morning. Well, it's 5 in the morning. I had to get up for a pee, and I noticed that what I had expected to happen with the fire had happened. The logs in the middle had burned through and fallen down, so while there were still a few tiny flames going, I thought I'd restoke the fire just so I've actually got something to cook with and at least have some sort of embers for the morning. But anyway, back to sleep. All right. So good morning. It's currently 1.6 degrees. The wind picked up a lot more than I was expecting it to last night, so the wind chill is quite brisk. So as you can see, it's quite foggy, but the weather report did say it was going to be foggy. So let's get the fire going just so I can warm up a little bit, and I suppose cooked breakfast would be a good start, wouldn't it? Get my gloves on for this. Partly so I can actually feel my fingers for a few minutes. Right, we've got some smouldering embers. There's what's left of the fire. Whee! That'd be a tree stump. Let's try and make this into a fire with almost no wood. Right, what we got? Let's see what we're working with first. Big pile of ash. Alright, okay. Let it dry out of the way. Right, just so I can get closer, basically. So we should have... Oh, look at that. That's a promising piece. There's a few coals in there as well. Oh, that's hot. Oh, that could be my catalyst. There we go. In there as well. I'm on fire. As if by magic. Right, wind's blowing that way, fine. Oh, even these have got some life in them. Ugh. Well, this one burned a lot. That's better. That was easy, wasn't it? I don't know why I'm shouting. I'm going to start packing these away while the fire's going. And then might actually make myself a coffee before I cook breakfast. Oh, the other thing that happened last night is the tent peg from this corner bit. Don't even know if you can see. The tent peg that was holding the front corner down popped out. The reaction on that one is the spars that come across here and hold that up broke. There's a bungee that holds three of them together. That snapped. So obviously this thing pinged off. The bungee cord, where's the bungee cord? There's the bungee cord, that obviously pinged off as well. So that had flopped down, but because my head was that end, not too much of a problem. Just a bit of a shame, really. Yep, I think that's definitely hot enough. Okay, coffee time. Coffee time. Yep, that's what I was expecting to happen. Not really a fan of black coffee. That's been in there a while. Maybe the other one's not so solid. Come on. Oops, where'd that go? I've lost the lid, haven't I? Let's be honest. I'm looking for the lid still. Found it. Okay, coffee that's been sitting in there for a year. Wish me luck. So the night was not too eventful, I suppose. The fire ignited itself at probably about, I'm going to say about 3 o'clock in the morning, I think, maybe earlier. First train in the morning was 4 o'clock, so that was another wake up, but very comfortable in the hammock. I didn't actually get as cold as I was kind of expecting to be. I mean, if I'd have had that sleeping pad on the floor, I would have been colder, I know that much. So the hammock was a win. Putting the emergency blanket around the bottom, I think, could have helped a little bit more in colder situations. So maybe another time I will try that method. It's an extra kilo of weight to carry with me in the forest because the hammock's about 1 kilo. But I think it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it. While this was burning down to coals, I thought I'd put away the tarp and the hammock, and I might have taken a bit too much time doing that because now I'm not finding very many coals in here at all. So I'll have to make some. Oh. Yeah, that's just making that worse, isn't it? Oh, that's a decent amount of heat though. Is that going to be? Yep. Hot. Stable at least. Right then. Whew. Oh, that's hot. Bacon. Two eggs. Where's the rest of that oil? If this all goes to plan, which I doubt because we're on an open fire, the fat from the bacon will cook the eggs. So this will be interesting. There's a bit of oil in there from last night still. I think that's stable. Would you say that's stable? I'm saying that's stable. 6 slices of ultra thin sliced, very cold, stuck together bacon. That's actually 2 slices. Like I said, very cold. I did clean my hands before I started. All right, maybe there's more than 6 slices then. Who knows? Right, okay. Right, okay, I need to go to my luxuries pouch to get some handy wipes again. I'll leave that out for the eggshells. Being pork belly, there's a large amount of fat on there, so there's a lot of energy. As you can see, definitely a lot of fat in there. I just have to make sure I don't burn it all away. Okay, so the fat wants to go that way. Oh, broke it. A bit of eggshell in there. Oh, I was lucky. Apparently, the best way to get rid of eggshell, if you do drop some in there, is to actually use the eggshell. Apparently, it sticks together or something. Right, breakfast time. I might do this American method and just use a fork. I have a theory as to why they only use one piece of cutlery. If anyone knows the actual reason, I'd like to know. Oh, that's a lot of fat. My theory is the same reason chopsticks were developed. So you can keep your weaponed hand free. You can eat with one hand and the other hand is always ready to grab your weapon, a gun or a sword in chopsticks case. Gladly do it. It's not very civilized. Oh, it's tasty. Obviously, it's bacon and eggs. Why wouldn't it be? If you do know about why Americans only use a fork, and you know that, and my theory is wrong, please let me know. Or if I am right, that'd be awesome. And let me know as well. But the good news is I'm pretty much already packed away. Just need to sort the fireplace out. There's nothing better than fried eggs in bacon fat. It really does make a world of difference to them. Final task of the day. Douse this. Oh, that's actually that's a full 1 litre. Hopefully that'll be enough. Obviously not. Right then, that's me out of water. stuff that I cleared out when I started the fireplace. Just put that back on top. Right then, I shall say goodbye now because I need to pack away a few things, including the tripod. So thank you very much for watching another one of my boring episodes of wilderness camping. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.